It's the dressing down that went viral this week. The head of the U.S. Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Jay Silveria, talking to cadets after racial slurs were posted on message boards of 5 black students.
If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you can't teach someone from another gender, whether that's a man or a woman, with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you demean someone in any way, then you need to get out. And if you can't treat someone from another race or a different color skin with dignity and respect, then you need to get out.
Joining me now, former Marine Corps Captain Vernice Armour. She is the first African-American female combat pilot in the armed forces. Good to talk with you again. What did you think when you heard about what went down at the Air Force Academy? Well, first of all, the slurs against those cadets.
Unfortunately, it's not the first time something like this has happened across the services, and it just needs to be addressed. And that's why I was excited about this experience, because the leadership is absolutely stepping up in a big way.
Yeah, and you know, he asked all those cadets to get their phones out after he delivered those speech, and he said, you record this as if to post it or to play it back as you need to. I mean, it was so powerful. So do you think his message was received?
Absolutely. And, you know, let's get one thing clear. We are not going to change the minds or the beliefs and values of people who are posting things like that or writing things like that. That message is not going to change them. But what we do want to impact is their behavior. He said if you cannot treat people with respect, if you cannot, and he listed out several things, if you cannot, then get out, right? Because it's about behavior and how are we treating each other. And hopefully along the way of treating with someone with dignity and respect, we can actually get it in our head, wow, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, and in the military throughout, I mean, it's all about units. It's about people working together, and you can't have respect or show respect to those around you. That's not going to do well for the unit. But when you say this didn't surprise you, did you ever receive this kind of treatment yourself?
You know, I'll just give you a little snippet, not just of me, but my grandfather was a Mumford Point Marine back in 1942, one of the first blacks allowed to serve in the military. Diversity has never been something that has happened, the integration, just because it was the right thing to do, right? My father went through some things. I went through some, of course I went through some things, whether it was because I was new or I was a brand new pilot or I was black, woman, or gay. And I will never be able to say why someone treated me a certain way. But as I share with folks, number one, we have to overcome the obstacles, right? Acknowledge the obstacles, don't give them power, and like the general did, how do we step up and be accountable and hold people's feet to the fire? He told folks, you know, take out your phone, record this. If you don't have the voice to say it yourself, or even if you do, but you don't have the power and the leverage, use me. And that's exactly what we need our leadership to do, because when we are not accountable as leaders and as the senior leaders in our military, with my experience, you asked me about me. Things happen. The leadership didn't step up, but had the leadership held their feet to the fire, I guarantee the behavior would have stopped if their career was on the line.
Do you think by addressing it this forcefully, these kinds of incidents are dwindling? I mean, we should say in this particular incident, these 5 slurs that were put out there are believed to be the work of one awful individual who's doing this. The handwriting was the same. So there's definitely one bad apple doing the wrong thing. But do you think the numbers are dwindling?
You know, unfortunately, there's a lot going on in our country right now. Do I think the numbers are dwindling compared to what my grandfather went through and my dad and my stepdad went through? Yes, absolutely. Have I seen things dwindle during my lifetime? I'm not so sure. It feels like they're changing, they're morphing. Sometimes they're more overt, sometimes they're more covert. And I do believe that is a result of the atmosphere we're in right now. Or when in the military, we say the commander sets the morale, the energy, the tone for the unit. So what's the tone being set for our country? What's the tone being set for our Air Force? For me, what was the tone being set for the Marine Corps, and what's the tone being set right now? You know, a lot of things are going on. Gays are being able to serve in the military. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. But now we have things going on with, you know, the transgender brothers and sisters. You know, we had the first woman to graduate from infantry officer school. So there are steps being taken forward, and there are steps being, it feels like a little taken step backwards, but we just have to keep that forward momentum. And the leadership, again, and I stress that wholeheartedly, the leadership is going to have to hold our leaders below us accountable. Otherwise, things won't change it like we'd like them to.
Former Marine Corps Captain Vernice Armour, always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who's